Tatare Sombatam Dende Panji Biki Ne Chabatu Papa Jela Tanin Aram Tanin Mandela or so Tibetan Shangpa Sendi Domba Shangpa Sendi Domba Shua Yin Wonder Yang Dene Yang Kyabje Bokar Domba Gu Yore Te Yinga Dene La Tara Nandu Thoma Jamdruke Domba Da lineages Tibetan Sendi Domba Rende Shirante Tokire Tela Dene Ta Tari Nandu Chabatu Papa Jela Tandi Shudriki Lidian Person Soba Top Sanji Chu Ama Girishini Jesu Zone Deta Witene Ponjosun La Kyabje Bokar Tibetan Sendi Domba Shujuki Chugam Deta Witaba De Le Zambo Takwa Zambo Yimba Sane Gawa Toa Kede Dene Thomar Ngadu Dene Yundumba Namgi Choa Mwanden Dere Choa Uso Shangpa Sendi
Aujourd'hui, en ce lieu saint béni par la présence du Bouddha Shakyamuni, va avoir lieu la cérémonie de prise de vœux de Bodhisattva, qui doit être tout d'abord précédée de la prise de vœux de refuge. Donc nous allons procéder successivement à ces deux cérémonies. En nous remémorant que nous avons maintenant eu la chance de rencontrer le Dharma, que nous avons la possibilité de le pratiquer, que nous sommes dirigés par des maîtres spirituels authentiques. En nous remémorant toutes ces conditions exceptionnelles, nous prenons conscience de notre très heureuse fortune, et cela dans un sentiment de joie et d'allégresse. La cérémonie va être précédée tout d'abord par un court rituel effectué par les moines.
Here at the very special place, in the place of the enlightenment of the Buddha, Bodh Gaya, the main event today is bestowing of the vow of the Bodhisattvas, which must be preceded by taking of the vow of refuge for those who don't have, and so reaffirming of those who have. So we'll begin with the ceremony of taking of refuge, followed by a vow for arousing the mind of awakening of bodhicitta. And in participating in taking of the vow of refuge, as well as that of the vow of the bodhisattva, one should refresh one's mind with the understanding that within this lifetime one has experienced or acquired precious human existence, and with all the exceptionally favorable conditions, such as coming into contact with the precious and profound teachings of the Buddha, having the opportunity to be guided by authentic spiritual friends or teacher, and having thus the inclination to pursue the practice of the Dharma. Given that all favorable conditions are present, one should express or feel much appreciation and have joy in this opportunity, and with that outlook of joyfulness of mind, participate in the ceremony. And so first Rinpoche and the Lamas will do the prayers that should precede the actual ceremony.
Thank you.
다 도마를 했네. 짬주도마. 대라 되네 짬도 해바티 코랑게 되는데 다리 있잖아. 되는 알아서 생자 탐제 다다니가 생자다. 그냥 마음바 코르비티 동아르다 이렇게 삼바 탐제래 껴베기 그런데 산제나 쇼단 인생좀라 짬주를 짬도
Tout d'abord, la cérémonie de prise de refuge. Que signifie cette expression prise de refuge? Elle signifie que contre les souffrances, les dangers, les peurs, les samsara, aussi bien en cette humaine que dans l'avenir, au cours de nos vies à venir, nous avons besoin d'une protection. Cette protection, nous la trouvons dans le Bouddha, le Sangha et la Dharma, le Dharma. Le Dharma et la Sangha. Donc nous nous plaçons sous leur protection, nous prenons refuge en eux.
In offering the vow of refuge, the meaning of taking refuge is in order to become free from present experiences of sufferings in the cyclic existence, as well as in order to become free from sufferings in the future altogether, applying the protection towards becoming free from suffering. And through applying the source of the refuge, there's the three jewels of Buddha, Dharma and Sangha, which serves as vehicles through going for refuge, as protection against present and future suffering. So that's essentially the meaning of taking refuge.
Dans la tradition bouddhiste, le refuge, c'est ce qui permet tout d'abord d'entrer dans la voie. Puis, une fois qu'on est entré dans la voie, c'est encore sur le refuge que l'on s'appuie pour poursuivre la pratique. Enfin, lorsqu'on arrive au résultat de la pratique, c'est alors que s'actualise le refuge ultime. Donc cette notion de refuge est extrêmement importante tout au long de la voie.
Taking of the refuge is entering the path and the practice of the Buddhist tradition, and laying the foundation and the basis for the stages of the practice of the Buddhist path. So it serves as a very important and essential foundation for the Buddhist practice of the Buddhist teaching, as well as an important element all along the path as one goes through the different stages of the path of the practice. And all the way until the fruition of the result stage, and that there where the objects of the refuge, where one has experienced sort of the inseparability with the objects of the refuge, and therefore one is endowed with the objects of the refuge until such point. So from ground, path and fruition point of view, the refuge is the very foundation, the very root of the Buddhist path. So in this way, it is most important.
어다 강다르 때는 잡순들의 요 건조숨다 싸와 숨 라소비 때문에 잡순 로아포 롱게 라니 땀도 마세 랑게 천디 밤에 주베 되는 로아를 두고 신자 탐제 두 다른 존에 타도 산지제 공방 마더제 파드 잡순 로에게 술 되네 이지권에 본조 숨라 다른 손에 로제 연주기 되네 이시기 대백권에 되네 이지권에 본조 숨라 잡순도와 당 마기권에 짬두선데 류지권에 차차와 라소파 술 되네 뭐바 관계 체드잖아 되네 라니 코르베 동안 민도 바당 대완도 바 신도 되네 남게 타다니한테 선제 판지잖아 대완도 바도 동안 민도 바 지송이 바래 희네 되네 남게 타다니한테 선제 판지 라게 선제 판지 콜베 동안에 돈에 되네 대와 담바 상지게 공방도도 체드 잡은 로바테 다 잡은 로발라 전세 요르당 로바포 로베 주 로베 술 로베 로바테 전세 와도 싸고 무슨 가는 내배 칸에 되는 잡은 로바 있잖아 특과 친구기 때문에 비전이 좀 모양 잡은 게
Pour prendre refuge en étant pleinement conscient de ce que l'on fait, il faut comprendre les 5 points qui définissent cette prise de refuge. Donc le premier point est de savoir en qui exactement nous prenons refuge, donc sous la protection de qui nous nous plaçons. Nous prenons refuge tout d'abord en ce qu'on appelle les 3 joyaux, à savoir le Bouddha, le Dharma, c'est-à-dire son enseignement, la Sangha, la communauté de ceux qui transmettent les enseignements. Nous prenons refuge aussi, puisque nous nous inscrivons dans le cadre de la branche du Vajrayana qu'on appelle le Vajrayana, nous prenons refuge aussi dans les 3 racines, à savoir d'une part les lamas, d'autre part les Buddhas, en 3e lieu, les protecteurs, les dkar, les lakini, etc. Donc ceci définit les lieux de refuge. Deuxième point, qui prend refuge? Donc nous prenons refuge, mais nous pensons que ce n'est pas seulement nous individuellement, nous pensons que en même temps que nous, tous les êtres de l'univers prennent refuge. Troisième point, pour quelle période prenons-nous refuge? Nous prenons refuge non seulement pour cette vie, mais jusqu'à ce que nous-mêmes ayons atteint le parfait éveil. Quatrième point, quelle est la manière correcte de prendre refuge? Cette manière correcte implique la participation de l'esprit. En premier lieu, par l'esprit, nous plaçons notre confiance et notre foi dans les 3 joyaux et les 3 racines. En second lieu, la participation de notre parole. Par la parole, nous récitons les formules de prière de prise de refuge. Et la participation du corps, c'est par la prosternation que nous exprimons notre prise de refuge. Cinquième point, la fonction de notre prise de refuge. Pour comprendre cette fonction, nous nous rappelons que exactement comme nous-mêmes ou comme nos parents de cette vie, tous les êtres du samsara, bien qu'ils veuillent le bonheur, ne trouvent pas ce bonheur, bien qu'ils cherchent à éviter la souffrance, n'arrivent pas à éviter la souffrance. Par conséquent, nous développons la volonté de prendre refuge pour devenir capable de sortir tous les êtres de la souffrance, de tous les établir dans le bonheur authentique de l'état de Bouddha. Donc ce sont les 5 points qui définissent notre prise de refuge, les lieux de refuge, qui prend refuge, la période pour laquelle nous prenons refuge, la manière de prendre refuge et la fonction de notre prise de refuge.
taking the vow of refuge, one must have an understanding of the objects of the refuge. In general, in entering the path of the Buddhist teaching, one takes refuge in the three jewels. The Buddha as the very shore of the path, the Dharma as the path or the collection of methods towards the realization of liberation, and the Sangha, the community of exalted community of spiritual friends who guides one on the path towards liberation. And more specifically, from the point of view of the Vajrayana aspect of Mahayana, one also takes refuge in the, along with the three jewels, goes for refuge in the three roots. The gurus or the lamas is the root of blessing, so the yidams, so the deities of practice, as the root of accomplishment, and the protectors as the root of enlightened activities. And so in this way takes refuge in the three jewels and the three roots. In correctly taking the vow of refuge, the vow of refuge must consist or constitute understanding and applying of 5 points. One is being aware of the object of the refuge, the three jewels and the three roots. And second is the individual is taking refuge, that is, who is intent on taking the refuge in the three jewels and the three roots. And third is in connection with the time, having the attitude that from this moment onward, the time one is taking refuge, until the experience of perfect Buddhahood, that one is going to go for refuge in the three jewels in terms of time. And the fourth is the manner, the procedure in which one takes the refuge, as the genuine participation of one's mind in taking the refuge, expressing heartfelt respect and confidence in the object of the refuge, and as expression of the participation of and the respect of one's speech, repeating the refuge prayers, the liturgy, the refuge vow, and then as a participation of one's expression of the respect of one's body, and joining of the palms together, expressing the offering of one's body through making of the prostration. And then the purpose for taking of the refuge, the fifth point, with understanding that as much as one longs for experience of happiness and do not desire suffering, and therefore want to become free from suffering, and knowing that is equally true of all other fellow sentient beings, their aspiration for the happiness and wanting to become free of suffering is same as one's, and understandings of this very fundamental commonality among all sentient beings, therefore making the aspiration to be able to effect the liberation of all beings into the state of perfect Buddhahood and experience of therefore ultimate happiness, and becoming free from sufferings of all beings. One at this moment is going for refuge, so not only for one's own benefit, but with the attitude that for the benefit of one's parents of this present lifetime, as well as all sentient beings without exception, that one is going for refuge. So having this aspiration, and thus taking the refuge, which constitutes these 5 points in mind, objects of refuge, and the individual going for refuge, the intent of it, and the time situation from this moment onwards until perfect Buddhahood, and the manner in which one goes for refuge, and the purpose of taking of refuge. And so with this understanding, and going for refuge is the proper and the complete way of going for refuge in accordance with the Mayan tradition.
Tout d'abord, vous imaginez que face à vous, dans l'espace, sont présents les 3 joyaux et les 3 racines, et vous pensez que face à eux, et plus particulièrement encore face au maître qui vous donne ces vœux de refuge, vous pensez que vous adressez à eux et vous allez faire 3 prosternations, à la suite desquelles vous placerez le genou droit au sol, vous joindrez les mains et vous répéterez après le coaché la formule de prise de refuge.
Now, for taking the refuge, you will think of presence of the gathering of enlightened objects of the refuge in front of the one in the space, as well as in the presence of the master of the ceremony, with a sincere attitude of going for refuge, and as an expression of making offerings and an expression of respect, one will first make 3 prostrations, and after that sit in the vow-taking posture, which is one's right knee on the ground and left knee up, palms joined together, and with that you will repeat the refuge vow after the
다다 차차와단 점도 선들라서 같은데 저런 사마냥도 저는 되게 얘네 따져봐 담는게 얘네 싸게 근데 방법마다 보나레스.
Tout le monde peut faire les prosternations et répéter après un cocher la formule de prise de refuge, mais après quoi, seules les personnes qui prennent refuge pour la première fois viendront pour qu'un cocher leur coupe une mèche de cheveux et leur donne un nom.
All of you can, as a manner of reaffirming your vow of refuge, can do prostration and repeat the prayer of the vow of refuge. As for the actual ceremony of offering of the hair or cutting of the hair and receiving of the names, only for those who are taking refuge for the first time.
Kyabsum Zimbi, Genyen de, Zumbe Zonde Sol. Da Sonde Pi Döndi, Deni Cherang Nam, Du Tani Zone, Sanji Di Gomba Madu, Di Padu, Sanji Dan, Chu Dan, Genyen Sumla, Kyabsum Doni, Kyabsum Yin, Shepe Dönda, Sonde Te, Jedu Lensum Gobale, Legi Tane, Da Lensum Bajuni, Di Jesu, Tene Lobenji, Lampe Seko Di Dan, Shepe Kapsu, Teni Cherang Nam Di Gyula, Tijengi, Kyamdu, Tene Domba, Thompson, Sande Moda.
Le sens de la formule que vous venez de réciter, c'est depuis maintenant jusqu'à ce que moi-même j'atteigne l'éveil, je prends refuge en le Bouddha, le Dharma et la Sangha. C'est une formule qui doit être répétée 3 fois, vous venez de la répéter 2 fois. À la fin de la 3e répétition, Rinpoche fera un claquement de doigts symbolique. Vous penserez qu'à ce moment précis, vous aurez pleinement obtenu les vœux de refuge du Vajrayana.
The meaning of what you're repeating is from I by such and such name from this moment onward until enlightenment, go for refuge in the 3 jewels, Buddha, Dharma and Sangha, for the benefit and liberation of all beings. And you repeat the vow 3 times. Having done the first 2 repetitions, now for the 3rd, you will, with that understanding and attitude, repeat after Rinpoche and also say your names when last 2, and then at the end of which the repetition, when Rinpoche does the snapping of his fingers, at that moment have the sincere attitude of having received the vow of refuge.
Loben Gonso Sol. Wa Ming. Votre nom? Shegewa. Tunde Nezonde. Shise Tsowe Pardu. Kanye Namje Cho. Sanje La Kyabsu Cho. Dusha Dan Chawa. Namje Cho. Shula Kyabsu Cho. So Namje Cho. Yendu La Kyabsu Cho. La Shise Tsowe Pardu. Kyabsum Zimbi. Genyen de. Loben Ge Zonde So.
Vous répondez l'exo. Les personnes qui prennent pour la première fois refuge, vous approchez. Donc les personnes qui prennent refuge pour la première fois, Rinpoche va vous couper une petite mèche de cheveux, symbolise votre entrée dans le Dharma, et vous donner un nom de refuge. Donc, en même temps, Rinpoche vous coupe la mèche de cheveux, il vous pose une question qui veut dire vous réjouissez-vous d'avoir pris refuge? Et vous répondrez Chola, ce qui signifie oui, je m'en réjouis. Chola.
되게 저런 거 되네. 스파이스 점도 bomba. 컵대 되네. 망바 상지 되게 되네. 다들 차와래. 대인사 되네. 다 되게 점도 냥냥라 가르고 그랬잖아. 되네. 상지지 꼬당 꼬바 슈 되네. 견준다 잡아라. 견준도 구바 잡아. 되네. jamduke sonde de nimare rejinde yungshola sa duntam macheba jamdu sonde chaba medo la sobe ki chubim mo bolsambo kanyo ba konjo la mini shobam bruwa tunzo nyame bodos.
Vous avez pris refuge, vous êtes donc maintenant entré sur le chemin de l'enseignement du Bouddha. Ayant pris refuge, quels sont les préceptes qui en découlent? Tout d'abord, vis-à-vis de tout ce qui représente les représentations bouddhiques, les statues, les tankas, il y a les représentations du dharma, comme on dit les textes sacrés, ou encore la sangha, donc les membres de la sangha, vous vous engagez à marquer votre respect vis-à-vis d'eux. En second lieu, vous vous engagez à renouveler chaque jour votre prise de refuge en répétant au moins 7 fois une des formules de prise de refuge. Puis, chaque fois que vous le pourrez, en pensant que vous les offrez aux 3 joyaux, vous ferez des offrandes de fleurs, d'encens ou d'autres choses belles.
Having received the refuge vow, in this way now you have entered the Buddhist path of practice, and having entered the immediate practice or commitment in connection with having taken refuges, to have attitude of respect and express veneration to objects that represent the 3 jewels, such as statues and tankas and so forth of the Buddha, representing the Buddha, and the text of teachings representing the Dharma, and community of spiritual friends, the Sangha, and along with that, then making of offerings of flowers, lamp, etc., and directed towards the 3 jewels. Then during the refuge prayer, liturgy as many times as you can every day, at least a minimum of 7 times every day.
Kyabje Bokar Rinpoche sonde chabate nimare rejinde chabate manzo karsa ta 당아도 점도 좀 쉬네 되니 대체 마시는 참나는 말이 소리를 된다고 많이 봐. 되는 거네 말아서 됐나 말아서 메서 니마를 칼라 니마 따발 서리 요레 이 칼라 사이드 잘다고 무서다고 말해 말아서 교바다 되어레 대나 힘들거든 안도 니마를 이제 점도 선택할 점도 잡아대 생기 칼라 되라고 보래
Réciter chaque jour la formule de prise de refuge ou bien faire des offrandes de fleurs, etc. Rinpoche dit qu'il ne faut pas le prendre comme une obligation, comme une sorte d'impôt que vous auriez à payer comme ça, vous auriez vous décharger chaque jour. Il faut que ce soit votre esprit qui participe et qui le fasse avec confiance et avec joie. Rinpoche dit c'est comme chaque jour nous mangeons, et quand nous mangeons parce que c'est un besoin. Nous savons que nous devons manger par besoin, il y a une raison pour laquelle nous le faisons. Donc, de la même manière, nous devons réciter cette prise de refuge en sachant pourquoi nous le faisons, pas juste comme ça. Je dit par exemple, je bois de l'eau, c'est pas une obligation, c'est pas pour me décharger d'une obligation qu'on m'aurait imposée, mais parce que j'aime ça, j'ai soif et ça me fait du bien.
In expressing one's attitude of respect to the three jewels and making of the offerings, or in doing of the refuge prayers consistently, one must not approach it from the point of view like it's an imposed obligation, like paying taxes, and so you should rather, on the other hand, approach it from the point of view that this is something very important and very necessary for one to do, and to do it with joy. Just as we must eat food to bring about the sustenance and the nurturing of our body, and applying the dharma, like taking of the refuge, is to bring about the nurturing of the mind. So with that understanding, with enthusiasm, with joy, and not as an imposition. For instance, which is saying right now, just drinking water and doesn't do it because it's an imposition, and is doing it because it's good and it's necessary, and so in this way having that approach.
대제 되는 안도 점도 그 돈바 그바데 되네 다 건조 순지 되네 생활 판결한 게 생기 요라 토고 삼바되는 안도 테스 공격으로.
Dans la cérémonie de refuge est achevée, nous méditons maintenant quelques instants dans la pensée que nous avons pleinement reçu la bénédiction des trois joyaux.
Now, having received the refuge, we will do a brief meditation, the attitude of having absorbed all the blessings of the three jewels, the enlightened objects of the refuge, with that contemplation.
피과 침불로기 강습심기 개동바. 되네. 장주semjeje domba res. Ne 장주semjeje domba sengente tene 가르사나 피과 충무당 피과 첨번이게 바로 개발 가르사나 피과 충무게 시바 감정 고로와데 동아리 임바 대래 타르게 대래 랑이 타네 지와 양에는 대바드 나랑 속우도 산디기 대토베기 동아래 동아래 번에 대화 토백이 아니 대화 토백이 된데 되는 담배주 표상 공성당 여와 주바당 디바방발라 소바 냠즈는 바데 되는 대화 충무기 생계레스 다 대화 신들게 생계라 가르잖아 라니 코르 동아라 타네 지와 양에는 대반 토브름 저바 대진도 생계 탐대장때 찍바인바 신에 되는 semja 탐제 동아래 프로와당 되는 시와토비기 체드 되는 네, 다다 당보 말하는 게 때문에 동ар 저와다 대화 토픽이 기와 토픽이 체드 때는 상계지 고마 토픽이 체드 대화 대화 관 단대 표정 토픽 제기 삼바티 때는 심지 때는 그러나 지규대 찍바를 가르잖아 포와빵 양면에 내가 그바랬어 대화 대화빵 바랬어 단대 표정 고민 제바를 지규대 찍바 얘나야 심지 되게 쟤는 그바 종옥에 라니 찍고 저는 저기 말했어. 그바 전부게 쟤는 얘sem자 탐색이 전기 체도 제가 인자나 sem기 야체는 뭐네 쟤는 제가 송바래. 대인자 쟤는 그바 전부 생겨데 또 얘네들 체도 쟤는 제가 인자 별라 sem기에서
Nous allons maintenant accomplir la cérémonie de prise de vœux de Shangpa, qui appartient au grand véhicule. Quelle est la différence entre le grand véhicule et le petit véhicule? Lorsqu'on appelle le petit véhicule, on a pour motivation de se libérer de la souffrance, d'obtenir la paix du nirvana, et pour ce faire, on abandonne toute conduite négative, on accomplit tout ce qui est positif. Notre motivation est néanmoins individuelle, c'est pour ma propre libération que j'accomplis tout cela. Dans le grand véhicule, on a une optique un petit peu différente. On pense que, de même que nous avons l'aspiration de sortir de la souffrance, de trouver la paix du nirvana, cette aspiration est en réalité commune à tous les êtres. Et nous pensons que nous voulons faire le bien de tous les êtres. Pour ce faire, tout d'abord, nous-mêmes, nous devons obtenir l'état Bouddha. Donc pour obtenir cet état Bouddha, nous allons parcourir le chemin, abandonner ce qui est négatif, pratiquer ce qui est positif. Si on regarde ce qui est accompli, apparemment, c'est la même chose, c'est-à-dire renoncer à la souffrance, obtenir la paix du nirvana, rejeter les actes négatifs, accomplir les actes positifs. C'est la même chose, mais c'est la motivation qui change. Dans le petit véhicule, on le fait pour soi-même. Dans le grand véhicule, on le fait pour le bien de tous les êtres.
Now, taking the Bodhisattva vow, the Bodhisattva vow is the vow of aspiration within the Mahayana tradition, and generally in the Hinayana vehicle, while there is an understanding of the futility of samsara and defects and shortcomings of samsara, sufferings of samsara, and therefore a genuine wish to want to become liberated from the sufferings of cyclic existence, as well as there is the intent to want to experience the happiness of self-liberation, of that of nirvana, free from sufferings altogether. But the motivation is individualistic in that for personal experience of liberation from sufferings and personal attainment of the state of liberation or nirvana. Whereas in the Mahayana, according to the Mahayana or the greater vehicle, recognizing the common wish and the need of all beings, therefore concerning oneself with the other beings. For instance, one wants to learn and understand the Dharma and apply the practice of the Dharma in order to experience complete liberation, but to be able to benefit beings, to be able to bring about the liberation of beings. So the difference is in the motivation. As far as desiring freedom from sufferings, common in both vehicles, and desiring happiness or freedom, the experience of liberation, also common, and for that to apply the practice of the Dharma and embrace wholesome actions of body, speech and mind, and avoid unwholesome actions of body, speech and mind is essentially same, in common in both vehicles. The difference, the reason for the difference in terms of the lesser or the greater vehicle is in the motivation. The motivation is here in the greater vehicle tradition is one's concern for others' liberation is of great importance. So because of this aspiration.
Tene teta tiba chendu ke semje jene tene jebu kare chongare sana tiba chendu semje teta bil lam la tene jebu tata tene chanju sambata debe sangye thamje thomar teta bil semje bala tene tata tene sangye ta chanju semje ke thombang thop bares o tene semje tiba chungu ke semje teta bil 제비긴 레벨로 가르쳐 말했잖아. 얘네 다당 나랑 그 년도 자좀비 특과 충고기 때문에 기왕 영화를 잡아 초제기 때문에 자좀 만나는 게 공방 얘네 나랑 또 코베 센지나 때나 시랑 먼저 심보랬어. 가르쳐나 코발에 더 잡아랬어. 콘나바 자좀 받아 시랑 먼저 심보랬어. 얘나야 상계다 장주 선반남 기계양 연대나 때가 얘나 얘네 자좀 만남 때문에 오늘 타네야 시락 잡았어. और ते इंदा तेने ते जेबे ती खेबा ते खान तेने तुम्हारे साना सेमजी जाचे जों ते
Quel est le fruit de la motivation du grand véhicule? Le fruit de la motivation du grand véhicule au terme du chemin, c'est d'obtenir l'état de Bodhisattva et l'état de Bouddha. Quel est le fruit de la motivation du petit véhicule? C'est d'obtenir ce qu'on appelle l'état d'Arhat. L'état d'Arhat, c'est on peut dire un nirvana partiel. On est libéré du samsara, mais uniquement pour soi-même. Donc cet état d'Arhat est déjà par rapport à nous, est quelque chose de tout à fait extraordinaire, puisqu'on est libéré du samsara. Mais comparé à l'état des bodhisattvas ou des bouddhas, il reste encore un grand chemin à parcourir, il y a une très grande différence entre les deux.
As a result of applying the practice with the joined by the Mahayana aspiration and the bodhicitta, the realization is that of the realization of the stages of the bodhisattvas and that of the ultimate realization of the Buddhahood. As a result of this motivation, or the strength of this motivation. Yet, when the application of the path is only for personal liberation, and then the result is the realization of the state of Arhat, and the realization of just simply individual liberation, and that is the partial realization of liberation or nirvana, in that it's the experience of freedom from the sufferings of samsara. So, considering the various different sufferings of sentient beings, and so then compared to that, the realization of the Arhat is also just the whole idea of being totally free from sufferings of samsara is in itself very amazing and wonderful. Yet, when compared to the great many enlightened qualities and attributes of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, then the liberation of their heart is also very limited. So in this way, the difference is made by the extent of the motivation.
다 심지어 코란을 가려요르잖아. 심지어 코란을 이해와라. 군접 장주 계산다. 변담 장주 계산 제가 막 이유요. 되네 군접 장주 계산 생긴데 되네 또라고 때 가르잖아. 자와다 심지어 이해라. 자와 인지 참벌 되네. 제가 제가 군접 장주 계산. 변담 장주 계산 생긴데 가르잖아. 되네 말한 또 탐제게 내로 내로 또베기 시작 될라 때는 돈남 장국에서 여러 이유였어 다 다다 말아서 생기게 도말랭이 때 가르잖아 본도 장국에서 이게 되는 생기게
La bodhicitta, c'est-à-dire l'attitude du bodhisattva, se divise en deux. Il y a la bodhicitta relative et la bodhicitta absolue. La bodhicitta relative, c'est une attitude d'amour, d'affection et de compassion dirigée vers tous les êtres. La bodhicitta absolue, c'est la compréhension de la nature ultime des choses, d'être des choses. Donc, le vœu de bodhisattva concerne la bodhicitta relative.
In the bodhicitta, the bodhisattva vow and the bodhisattva aspirations, there is twofold aspirations, that is relative bodhicitta and absolute bodhicitta. By relative bodhicitta, meaning the aspiration which is motivated by the feeling of affection, feeling of compassion and loving kindness towards others, and so moved by, therefore, the attitude of compassion and concern for others arising out of that is relative bodhicitta. Absolute bodhicitta is through the understanding of fundamentally lacking the truth of existence, nature of all phenomena, the non-referential nature of all phenomena, and therefore gaining insight or wisdom through that, and such is the bodhicitta, absolute bodhicitta. So right now, our taking the bodhisattva vow is from the point of view of the relative bodhicitta, making the relative bodhicitta aspiration.
되는 장주지 semje 달라야 되는 저단계 제 사바 시럽지 초다 야채와 탑지 초 이 야바 진득이 쳐발라 때네 되는 사바 시럽지 차 또던 백기 차네 되는 잠배 지도 잠을 양상 몸보도 좀 내주베게 사무타베게 로스 유바체게 야, 또 야차와 탑지 초 차또 어떤 데 차네 어디는 이제 잠반에 야가지로 토메니 유베게 로지요도 될라데네 야신 쪽베게 유세네 다 모습 이제 관 직관에 연하양 즉 타다 히어라테는 대조 야치종 굉장히 차네 되네 양 생제 될라테네 유백이 윤로
Il existe deux traditions de ce vœu de bodhisattva, donc deux traditions de la bodhicitta. La première insistant davantage sur la connaissance profonde et la seconde insistant davantage sur les moyens vastes. Donc, la première de ces deux traditions remonte au Bodhisattva Manjushri et au maître indien Nagarjuna. Et cette tradition s'appelle la tradition de la vision profonde. La seconde tradition remonte à Maitreya, puis au maître indien Asanga, et cette tradition s'appelle la tradition de l'action vaste. Donc il n'y a pas essentiellement de différence entre ces deux traditions, c'est simplement l'accent mis plus ou moins sur la connaissance ou plus ou moins sur les moyens.
In the Bodhisattva lineage, or the lineage of the cultivation of bodhicitta through the Bodhisattva vow, there are two principal traditions, and one tradition where the greater emphasis is from the point of view of wisdom, and so the tradition of profound view and profound vision, the lineage coming from the Buddha through eminent bodhisattvas like Manjushri and Nagarjuna and so forth, the tradition of the profound view. And then the second tradition is the tradition of the vast action, of the vast activity, where in the Bodhisattva lineage the greater emphasis being placed on the method and skillful means. And so such tradition again coming down, and the predominant masters in that lineage, the Bodhisattva Maitreya and the Asanga and so on. So in this way, the Bodhisattva vow of lineage of vast activity. Essentially, both lineage is the same, and the only difference is where the greater emphasis is made, emphasis on the wisdom aspect or emphasis on the skillful means aspect. And so that's being where sort of the different emphasis is accented, that's the difference.
전에 장수 선제당 계획이 지금 규백이 또 가대 있는 딜레기 모델도 되잖아 그렇다고래. 근데 다당한도 주주 차가지고는 와. 근데 항상 전에 근데 뒤져서 근데 뭐지 좋아.
J'ai dit, donc je vous ai présenté brièvement ce qu'est la bodhicitta et les traditions de vœux du bodhisattva. Nous allons faire une pause une demi-heure, après quoi aura lieu la prise de vœux à proprement parler.
So having made a brief explanation of what bodhicitta is and the bodhisattva vow lineage and how one should approach it and so forth, and so one should reflect on that. And now we'll take a break, and then for about half an hour, and then when we get back, we will do the actual ceremony of offering the vow of refuge.
Dhamma
다 심지에 넘바 될라 다시 공부 주바진도 루터니 유배 나네 다 사모타베기 유비게 루터타드 되네 마랑도 다리 심지에 넘바 그거요래 될라 되네 다 심지에 될라 nomba semje ta dupa semje ni tene nomba semje sana tene kanere sana namge taje je semje pamje je tönje chedu tene me sanje je pombange kobar chegi ni samba dala nomba semje thik semje tamja ta darin je tene dela semjes semje tamja darin je tene tamja cheba chiku ta mai ba tamja cheba yendu tene ane zone semje tamje ki tönje je sanje ki pomba prebe ki che tene sanje sembe ki labja sanje sembe ki laba tengo tene 바로도 좀 돌아 쏘봐 라전이 안내 탐지 되는 나랑 카운트도 여기 삼바다 근데 드바데 무슨 드바 참 나만 이 먼저 뛰어와 대답이요
Nous avons vu tout à l'heure qu'il y a donc deux traditions de la prise de deux bodhisattvas. La tradition que nous allons suivre aujourd'hui, c'est la tradition de la vue profonde. Dans cette bodhicitta, il y a deux aspects qu'on appelle la bodhicitta intentionnelle et la bodhicitta appliquée. La bodhicitta intentionnelle,
in general, there being two aspects to the bodhisattva vow: the aspiration aspect of bodhicitta, or bodhisattva vow, and the application aspect of bodhicitta. So, in the bodhisattva vow of the profound view tradition, the aspiration and application bodhicitta vow are given together, and so the aspiration bodhicitta is, for instance, having the aspiration to want to attain the state of realization of enlightenment for the benefit of all beings, and that kind of aspiration. And application is the applying whatever methods of practice through one's body, speech and mind, wholesome actions such as the bodhisattva conduct or practices that of the six paramitas, applying them joined by the motivation to want to bring about the liberation of all beings. So not only just an aspiration, but also committing to act according to the motivation. So that is application aspect of the bodhicitta.
다 장주 semje domba shiwa tela tene domba shiwi ki yurte tene 다 charanam ji mobala sojo na yobe sanje da 장주 semba tene labar do yang tene 장주 semje dombi ki juba dan dembe ki lama gewi shini 다 pena domba chuan yobe ngare 대당 제발라 되게 되는 장소 domba tobiyo tene domba 장주 semje domba tobar 제발라 tene tomar 마라스 조남지 초사바나 tene 마사게 레지 드바장바 사종 된거 제네 tene 사종 제네 tene 랑게 비르마 장마네바 잘라 tene 장주 semje domba 되게 고요래 근데 년다 tene semje domba nem베게 tomar tene 사종 내 탐지 찍게 봐. 양라 좀 방하라.
En présence de qui prenez-vous ce vœu de Bodhisattva? Vous pensez que vous le prenez en présence de tous les Bouddhas, de tous les Bodhisattvas, plus précisément encore de tous les lamas de la lignée, plus précisément encore en présence de Rinpoche qui vous donne ce vœu. Pour que notre esprit soit prêt à recevoir ce vœu, il faut qu'il se soit purifié et qu'il ait accumulé du mérite. On dit que par la purification effectuée, l'esprit devient un réceptacle pur pour recevoir ce vœu. Le meilleur moyen d'effectuer une purification étant la prière à cette branche, c'est ce que nous allons faire en premier lieu.
So now when you are taking the Bodhisattva vow, you should have the attitude in the presence of the assemblage of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in front of you, particularly that of the unbroken lineage masters of the Bodhisattva vow tradition to the present time, to the time of Rinpoche, who is presently conducting the Bodhisattva vow. So in the presence of therefore the unbroken lineage as well as the Bodhisattva vow master, that one is taking the refuge, witnessed by, if you would. And the most important basis, foundation for receiving the Bodhisattva vow, the basis is accumulation of merit and purification of defilement, so veils of karmic obscurations through applications of methods of purification. And so the most profound method, complete method for bringing about accumulation of merit as well as purification of the veils of karmic obscuration is through applying, through doing the sevenfold offerings. So now you will first have therefore the attitude of making the sevenfold offerings to bring about the accumulation of merit and purification of defilements.
rangi lyodang longzhu jiden je kanna ubo zangbo kan yoba tamji choba pilibiki myoba tang thoma meba ne sabi nyunga yisumki dikwa tamji yobe gwani shaba tang sanje chansam tang sosu kiyo namji gewe zawala jesu yerangba tang sanje da chanju samba lama gewe shinye namla choji kolo kowa sowa taba kunyangala mendaba korwa matongi padu ruwe tunzene yubar sowa taba tedaki gewe zawali tola tene ta tari chananangi gyula pipa chendu simji chanju simji domba te simji domba yang taba je tobar sho sambi ngowa te sede marazo yangla domba te yang de songgo.
En quoi consiste cette prière à cette branche? Tout d'abord, nous pensons que nous produisons un nombre de corps semblables à nous-mêmes infini et que, en premier lieu, c'est la première branche, tous nous-mêmes ainsi que tous ces corps, nous nous prosternons, nous rendons hommage en nous prosternant devant tous les Bouddhas, tous les Bodhisattvas, les lamas de la lignée et le maître qui donne le vœu. En second lieu, deuxième branche, nous pensons que nous offrons, la branche de l'offrande, nous offrons tous nos biens, tout ce qu'il y a de beau et de bon dans l'univers. En troisième lieu, la confession. Nous pensons que dans un sentiment de repentir, nous confessons tous les actes négatifs que nous avons pu commettre en cette vie et dans nos vies passées. En quatrième lieu, nous nous réjouissons de tous les mérites, tous les actes positifs accomplis par les Bouddhas, les Bodhisattvas, les êtres ordinaires. En cinquième lieu, nous demandons aux Bouddhas, aux Bodhisattvas et aux maîtres de tourner la roue du Dharma, c'est-à-dire d'enseigner. En sixième lieu, nous les prions de ne pas partir dans le nirvana, mais de demeurer en ce monde jusqu'à la fin du samsara pour le bien des êtres. La septième branche, c'est la dédicace, c'est-à-dire à quoi consacrons-nous les mérites issus de ces premières branches? Nous le consacrons au fait que nous souhaitons pouvoir prendre de manière parfaitement pure, pouvoir recevoir de manière parfaitement pure ce vœu de Bodhisattva. Donc nous allons faire ensemble ces 7 branches.
So in applying the sevenfold offerings, so 7 branch prayers, one will, with the attitude of being in the presence of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, unbroken lineage masters, as well as Bodhisattva vow master, in their presence, one's body manifesting in innumerable in numbers, all of such the innumerable manifestations of one's body, making prostrations to the enlightened objects. And the second one is having the sincere attitude of making offerings of one's body, speech and mind, possessions, happiness and well-being, and for that matter all worthy objects of offerings, and thus having the attitude of making immeasurable universal offering. And third is having the sincere, heartfelt attitude of compassion in the presence of the enlightened object of the refuge, whatever negative karma and obscurations one might have accumulated, as well as that of all beings from beginningless times, and with genuine heart of repentance, expressing confession. Fourth is the arousing the attitude of rejoice, whatever in the way of virtuous, wholesome actions that have been accumulated by Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, as well as ordinary beings, in the 3 times, and the rejoicing, and in the wholesome and virtuous actions of everyone. And the fifth is having an attitude of requesting the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and great masters to continue to turn the wheel of the teachings for the benefit of beings. And the sixth is requesting Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and great masters, and to continue to remain within samsara and never to pass into nirvana until samsara is emptied of sentient beings, and thus continue to manifest enlightened dharma activities for the benefit of beings. And then the seventh, the attitude of dedication, whatever merit and virtue is accumulated from the 6 preceding offerings, and to make a dedication that whatever virtue is accumulated may bring about the appropriate conditions of mind, so that one will be able to receive the Bodhisattva vow fully and for the benefit of beings. So in this way, relating to the sevenfold offerings, and we do the liturgy for the sevenfold offerings too.
다 뭐지 되네 심지다 돈바 남발라 되네 고만 자랑난지 그대게 차숨 칸 또보다 제 참마자.
Pour prendre le vœu, tout d'abord, en signe de respect, nous faisons 3 prosternations, puis nous plaçons le genou droit au sol, nous joignons les mains comme tout à
Now,
l'heure.
we will, in order to receive the vow, do 3 prostrations and then to sit in the vow-taking posture.
다 저런서 삼바칸데 땅고를 사나 저는 초초나 유배 산제다 장주 삼바 lö런데 제된 준드 저는 다 뭔지 산제 대바르시 관남제 생제산제게 전지 제된 방법 투제네 장주 초도 샘제 저는 바르드네 람드네 tar sanji di komato river sanji di komato tobai tawiores de yinde tene charam soyena ya ta tare nambe tadanya de sinja tamje ye tenji chedu ten tare ta tiba chendu simji de dombate tene me yengi samba tende ki samlo tane ta jebe chebu.
Donc vous allez répéter à Kalu Rinpoche, que faut-il penser pendant que vous répétez la formule de prise du vœu? Vous pensez que de la même manière que tous les Bouddhas du passé se sont d'abord engagés pour le bien de tous les êtres en faisant cette même promesse du Bodhisattva. De même que eux l'ont fait, vous pensez, moi-même, aujourd'hui, pour accomplir le bien de tous les êtres de l'univers, je prends le vœu de Bodhisattva.
So now you will repeat the Bodhisattva vow prayer, the Bodhisattva vow words after Rinpoche. And with the attitude as you repeat, the attitude, the motivation that you should maintain is, just as the Buddhas, the enlightened ones of the past, had initially gave rise to or aroused Buddhas to the point of experience of perfect Buddhahood. In the very same manner as they had done, that one is also going to now for the benefit of infinite number of sentient beings and going to arouse the mind of bodhicitta and thus aspire in the same way as the Buddhas of the past. So with this attitude you will repeat the words.
초주나 유배 산제당 장주삼바 탐제당 로벤달라 공수솔 지다른 원기 장주님보 체제발 산제남라 꺄수치 최당 장주 삼바예 소랑 대신 꺄수치 지다른 원기 대시기 장주부 토네 깨바당 장주부 셈베 라바라 름바진드 라바당 대진 로라 펜던드 장주부 셈네 예예신 대진 되네 라바랑 름바진드 라바르지 다 제도 손대때 레솜 고베나네 당보되는 사바레 되네 다티 변제 다긴시아바 나긴게 되는 선제 탐식이 변제 제도 문제 대화시바 남제 통제바 현동에 심지게 되는 다리 넘바 쉐바이 되는 넘바 쉐바 잠마인 바되는 장주 셈비게 라자 펜조라 되는 마랑 칸트도 되는 냠니치니 시베탄다데 다티 손데 방법소네 다양 이바레 계가버 찬앙도 셈마인 버전에 되는 다다티 된다데 삼고도.
Cette formule de prise de vœu doit être répétée 3 fois. Donc son sens, c'est ce que nous avons déjà dit précédemment, à savoir de même que tous les Bouddhas, les bienheureux du passé, pour le bien des êtres, ont d'abord engendré la bodhicitta, puis ont atteint l'état de Bouddha. De cette même manière, moi-même, aujourd'hui, pour accomplir le bien de tous les êtres, je fais le vœu du bodhisattva. Non seulement je fais maintenant la promesse, mais par la suite, j'appliquerai effectivement les préceptes, les six paramitas, etc. Donc, nous allons répéter une seconde fois. Donc, cette seconde fois, nous gardons bien présent ce sens à l'esprit.
You repeat the words of the Bodhisattva vow 3 times. You have done the first one. And again, the meaning of what you're repeating is just as the Buddhas and the enlightened ones of the past have initially aroused the mind of bodhicitta and generated, and then through applying the various different activities or the conduct of the bodhisattva, such as the application of the paramitas, maintained the activities of the bodhisattvas and brought about the realization of complete Buddhahood. In the same manner, sort of following their footsteps, that one has already committed oneself to the aspiration for the enlightenment of all beings, and along with that aspiration one is also going to, as by the Buddhas of the past, apply the activities of the Bodhisattvas too. So with the mindfulness and sort of one-pointedness of one's mind, with that attitude, then you will repeat for the second time.
초주나 유배 산제당 장주sem바 탐제당 로변달라 원수소 장주님보 치제발 산제남라 잡수시 쇼당 장주 sem바예 소랑 대신 잡수시 지다란 건지 대제기 장주부 토네 야바당 장주 셈베 라바라 름바진드 라바달 대진 로라 펜던드 장주 셈네 예예신 대제 되네 라바랑 름바진드 라바라기 다디 제수 되는 제도 숨바 될라 되는 저런 셈마용바 제제도 되는 남게 타다냐는데 심제 되는 잡매바 뭐매바 어때는 탑미시바 몽바 어때는 동아르제 나르게 심제 대 탐제나 인제 남바 로라 마저르가네 어때는 소주자와 상제다 장주 삼바남지 장알라 되는 내 다리 심쟁게 전시 지금 인삼백이 심제 담자 걔는 집에게 물받을 때에 되는 삼마용과지 되는 뒤도 조백깔라 로베기 라베 다체백깔라 되는 저랑 남지 듀라 티신 문죽지 semje domba 차장 토송 산대기 때문에 미시고
Au cours de la troisième répétition, vous gardez votre esprit parfaitement concentré dans la pensée que vous prenez ce vœu pour venir au secours de tous les êtres qui sont dénués de tout moyen de sortir de la souffrance, qui n'ont pas de refuge, qui n'ont pas de recours. Et c'est pour leur apporter tout cela que vous voulez prendre ce vœu. À la fin de la troisième répétition, Rinpoche claquera des doigts. À ce moment précis, vous penserez que vous aurez pleinement obtenu le vœu.
Now, while continuing to maintain the undistracted attentiveness of mind with the aspiration of bodhicitta, you will repeat the bodhisattva vow for the third time, and that also continuously moved by the intention or thought of affection and love and compassion for sentient beings who are experiencing tormented by various forms of physical and mental sufferings, who lack the understanding of the means and methods towards liberation, who do not have direction, who do not have refuge, and continuously lost in the state of the bewilderment in the cyclic existence of samsara. So moved by compassion towards them, or one's mind not separated by the motivation of compassion, therefore taking the bodhisattva vow. And at the end of the third repetition, when Rinpoche, as the bodhisattva vow master, signals the particular time of the receiving of the bodhisattva vow through the snapping of the fingers, at that particular point you should decisively experience the receiving of the bodhisattva vow.
초주나 유배 산계당 장주선바 탐제당 노변다라 원수솔 장주님보 치계발 산계남라 yap수치 쇼당 장주 선바예 소랑 대신 yap수치 지다란 문제 대제게 장주 토네 야바당 장주 선배 라바라 림바진도 라바다 나장조라 텐텐도 장주 선네 대제심 대제되네 라바랑 림바진도 라바르기 타비노 다 자랑서 생기게 동발레 버터 살아있면나 되는 차선 산이 되는 살을 주고도
Ayant terminé, ayant pris le vœu de bodhisattva, vous faites de nouveau 3 prosternations, puis vous vous asseyez.
Having received the bodhisattva vow as an expression of gratitude, you make 3 prostrations and then to take your seat.
다 대다를 자랑 남지 다리 소주 자와서 단자 바 로런데 자바 빵볼 쏘네 이들들 되는 심기 이제 돈바 감자 자바 디게 다 자랑 남지 줄라스 피진 심기 이제 돈바 톱 어디서 톱 산에 되는 자랑 남 다 된지 차네 되는 장주 심비기 르수 또바 장주 셈비기 세순줄 되네 맹게 차네나 양 되네 자랑소 소주기 맹 강연바디 되네 부이나 장주 셈바 부모이나 장주 셈마 대라보기 되네 배나 맹네 줄바다 된지 차네 네 줄데 다 강다로 되네 마란도 다 다리 티센셈지 제 돈바 토바담지 되네 자랑소 창마 다 티과 첨부 티과 첨부기 야세 장주 셈비기 다 통수 또밤
Prenons à témoin tous les Bouddhas, tous les Bodhisattvas et le maître qui donne les vœux. Vous avez maintenant pris cet engagement, pris le vœu du Bodhisattva pour le bien de tous les êtres. Ayant pris ce vœu du grand véhicule, vous êtes désormais, en réalité, ce qu'on appelle les fils des vainqueurs, c'est-à-dire des Bodhisattvas. Du point de vue de l'appellation aussi, désormais, quel que soit votre nom, vous êtes aussi Bodhisattva un tel, ou si vous êtes une femme, Bodhisattva un tel. Donc, quoi qu'il en soit, vous faites désormais partie de la famille des fils des vainqueurs, ou Rinpoche a dit en anglais aussi, vous êtes désormais citoyens de la nation des fils des vainqueurs.
So in this way, having received the Bodhisattva vow, and it's an exceptionally fortunate situation for everyone, and having received the Bodhisattva vow, there is a definite change in meaning, in substance, as far as sort of direction of one's life is concerned. In that, through having taken the Bodhisattva vow, one has joined the family of the Buddhas, of the Bodhisattvas. And so, not only change in meaning or in substance, change in name also, whatever your particular names are. And so, along with that, then so-and-so Changchup Sempa indicating the masculinity, and Semma, the femininity, and so Changchup Sempa so-and-so, and Changchup Semma, and so on. And so in this way, now you have so now you can give up the old passport like some other people had to do it. And now you have become all the citizen of the enlightened society of the Bodhisattvas, and welcome on board. that was extra.
대 인자 되네 다 나란서 되네 다리 생기게 domba lemba tela 되네 셔라게 세 가사 고바 참보이레스 생기게 domba 세기게 람바 짠게 랑게 나사게 레지 이제 망보 장투베게 편연다 되네 소남게 초자 참보토베 편연 되네 초주 산게 나 장주 산바 탐지장 되네 토니에바 나란서 Tibetan chamber Shangpa to Jeva. Then Choba. Then they get yours, then they answer, then Aranto, that will get Tare, Sengi, Tibetan chamber, Sanju to Shangpa, but they massive big in Kasa. Kavazango in Bar Sane, that will talk about it, and Shangpa, but some to Mazi, Tan Aranto Tana. Kyabje Bokar citizen Vajrayana, then Kyabje Bokar Rangi Luso Kitchen, the Tambakari, the Tenado intimate Chegures. There Mazana, Tenando, then Chandangava Chedana, the Tawan Jugumaris, Positive. What then I get around the Tibetan chamber. Sanju saw the same Kiene, Tane Zone, then Yase Sanju Sambanam Gitene, Labja, Tenzola. Counter get in la Panja Tande, counter to Pang, Ruja Tande, counter to Rugi Samba. Or Tende, around to Harrison, the Domba Sobatella, then around to Kawata Toa, Deta Yomba, Tiamama, Sonam, the So Jasambo Sabata, Tibetan giving the Tibetan children dry you with that.
Prendre le vœu de Bodhisattva c'est faire un acte extrêmement important. Il est dit que le seul fait de prendre le vœu purifie de beaucoup de karma négatifs accomplis antérieurement, nous permet au contraire d'accumuler beaucoup de mérites. Le seul fait de prendre le vœu, c'est aussi comme une offrande qui réjouit tous les Bouddhas et tous les Bodhisattvas. Ceci dit, prendre le vœu n'est pas suffisant, il faut ensuite respecter ses engagements, observer les différents préceptes qui en découlent, exactement comme lorsque on devient citoyen d'un pays, il faut en observer les coutumes, en observer les lois. Si on ne le fait pas, on vous retire vos papiers. Donc maintenant que vous êtes devenus citoyens du pays du Bodhisattva, il faut observer les préceptes des six paramitas, rejeter ce qui doit être rejeté, accomplir ce qui doit être accompli. Le fait que nous ayons pu prendre ce vœu de Bodhisattva est en lui-même une indication du grand mérite que nous avons pu accumuler déjà dans nos vies passées et du lien que nous avons déjà tissé avec le Vajrayana.
The act of taking of the Bodhisattva vow and the opportunity to do so is very significant because the very aspiration or to taking the vow of aspiration in itself is a cause for purification of a great deal of negative karma of the past, as well as the intent alone is a cause for accumulation of much merit and a source of tremendous benefit in this way. And also, this act of taking of the Bodhisattva vow is great offering to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and which causes tremendous joy to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And so in this way, a very significant act. Not only now having taken the Bodhisattva vow of aspiration, and the aspiration also to apply all the Bodhisattva activities, one must do one's best to commit in action, the various different bodhisattva vow activities of the bodhisattva. And for example, it is not just enough that one has taken the citizenship and of a particular nationality or country and gotten the passport, but whatever are the laws and in that context of culture and whatever are the rules, one also has a responsibility to abide by such. And in a similar way, that having committed oneself to the bodhisattva vows and the bodhisattva principles, one must by all means abide by the bodhisattva vow activities by applying the practice of the bodhisattvas, that of the 6 paramitas. And one should do so with much enthusiasm, much joy, with a sense of tremendous good fortune, because the very occasion of having the opportunity to take the bodhisattva vow is because of much merit accumulated in the past, as well as aspirations made in the past. And it's a definite indication of maybe past connections with the Mahayana path and practice.
다 심기게 domba 토베게 랍자라 다치다 얘네 몽보요레게 다 얘나야 나라서 레 강보 받남지 싸완다고 인고다고 간데 고레 산나 용아 예수님께 고네 얘네 심제 야라 스베게 레 용도 땅에 강토도 빵바다 용아 예수님께 고네 심제 야라 템베게 레 강토도 그 되네 따버 돼야 되네 샘게 때문에 예배게 삼바상고 이제 다 냠내지 싸워.
Les préceptes qui découlent de ce vœu de ce bodhisattva sont très nombreux, mais on peut les résumer simplement pour nous en disant éviter tout autant que nous pouvons dans l'activité de notre corps, de notre parole et de notre esprit tout ce qui peut être nuisible pour les autres. Au contraire, dans cette même activité de notre corps, de notre parole et de notre esprit, faire tout autant que nous pouvons ce qui est bénéfique pour les autres, et plus particulièrement nourrir dans notre esprit une constante pensée de bienveillance.
Having taken the bodhisattva vow, basically the commitments to the bodhisattva vow are, while many, but in sum, in short, one should attend to the activities of body, speech and mind, and thus have the wish as well as act upon decreasing the negative and harmful actions of body, speech and mind as much as one can, working towards the decreasing of such, and again with attentiveness or mindfulness, attending to the wholesome actions of body, speech and mind, and actions that are beneficial for one and others, and working towards increasing such wholesome activities of body, speech and mind. And most importantly, we're always embracing and maintaining genuine good-heartedness, a genuine attitude of caring for others.
다 다 간다 가서 또 싸워다 보잖아. 되는 샘지 때라 얘라 펜베기 삼바 상보 안토도 그 삼로타 되는 거에서 얘나야 말아서 간토도 펜바 드르트 바이어가 드르네 로 마토 바이에나야 마온발라 펜바 드르트게 뭐는 잡 되는 다 얘나야 다다 말아서 레 당보 바인바다 되는 대사대만도 코르센데나 나로 여바 yenza 되는 가도 치기겐 되는 나도 샷센잖아 계단 따르는데 되는 용메시 바마리스 얘나야 되는 다다 말아서 때는 치기 나는 별 가능한 거 때는 치기 간사 서로와 센스들 요레스 다지 센스들 카드 에스 메시 당고레스 당고 냐말레도 테스트 파스 제네 디탐 때는 아주 다다가는 미진 그나 일반적으로 테스트 지금 한번 전화 텐트 나도 니나들 냐 이런 거 테스트 이런 거요 이 뒤도 테스트 이런 상도 맞다 이런 거랑 맞을 때 맞을 탑 근데 그 상으로 좀 제네 테스트 줘봐 테스트 야야야 된거 봐 어때는 미긴 그랑 너가 제가 컨트롤 한 바에 나야 주도 이런 거 난다 막 요거 시비 다 판사다 삼로다 근데 전에 되는 게 되는 야 되는 야 또 그래스 다 된다고 했잖아 되는 생기 맞아 저거도
Il faut développer autant que nous pouvons cette attitude de bienveillance, ce souci du bien des autres. Ceci dit, nous sommes débutants dans la pratique du Bodhisattva, nous demeurons dans le samsara, dans des conditions de vie samsariques. Donc, il n'est pas impossible, malgré tout, que sous l'effet de certaines circonstances, la colère monte en nous, nous étions en colère. Donc ce qu'il faut faire, dit Rinpoche, c'est, cette colère monte en nous, il faut d'abord apprendre à réduire un petit peu notre réactivité par rapport aux événements. Et dans un second temps, apprendre aussi à ne pas rester dans notre sentiment de colère, à y rester moins longtemps qu'auparavant. Donc quand les choses se produiront, quand les événements susciteront notre colère ou notre agressivité, développer la patience, être moins réactif et rester moins longtemps dans cette colère, c'est ce que nous nous engageons à faire.
Now, with the Bodhisattva vow, what is important for one to actually maintain is genuine good-heartedness, such caring outlook of mind, and within that, out of that outlook of mind, allowing the wholesome activities of body, speech, mind to manifest towards others. So, in this way, be of benefit for others. But as beginning practitioners, while one may not be able to embrace the Bodhisattva vow principles, attitude and actions and so forth fully initially, at least one should do one's best to make gradual cultivations. For instance, prior to taking the Bodhisattva vow, prior to applying the practice of the Dharma, and given that we are beginning practitioners, given that we live in the context of samsara with our own samsaric limitations and various different interactions and influence and so forth, so therefore the possibility that certain interactions triggering anger in us, and normally that we may be very vulnerable to the possibility of such emotions as anger being triggered off quite easily and sort of very vulnerable, very sensitive. But now, as a practitioner of the Dharma, particularly with embracing the Bodhisattva principle through the vow of bodhicitta, one should at least become sort of less vulnerable or less sensitive, less sort of react less easily and to such. And so in this way, working towards that. And at the same time that when we are confronted with harm or harsh words and so forth from others, the normal tendency is sort of to let that sit in our mind for quite long time and have sort of impact. And but working towards at least making it go away faster, so let it expire faster, and so in this way gradually working towards the more complete and wholesome outlook of mind, following such steps would be helpful.
다 간다라 다림 생기게 돈바 저랑도 톱 살아래 톱네 다 때나 나도 되네 철로란 로바이나 되는지 철로로 판 로바가 상이 자마 저랑도 소소 농바는 로바 근데 그 까라 되네 체네 저랑도 낀 되네 미jen지 컨트롤 남바다 되네 샤당제비 낀인데 되네 투용 그래 얘가라 되네 근데 투용 그 까라야 되네 다가 내 잡아도 봐봐 도제데 대라 되네 라마 상 라마 나데 되네 나치부터 마세베 되네 상주선바 상제 조정의 유그 상제가 전적이 되어난 내 장수 생기고 돈바테 랑바이 랑여바 삼백이 그 마제 받잖아 그게다 생기겠어.
Quand vous serez sorti de cette tente, ou bien quand vous rentrerez, quand vous serez rentré chez vous dans les jours prochains, un moment ou à un autre, il est certain que vous serez confronté à une cause susceptible de provoquer votre colère, soit quelqu'un se mettra en colère contre vous, ou une autre circonstance. Si à ce moment-là, vous vous souvenez de ce que vous avez fait, et si vous pensez dans ce lieu très sacré de votre Gaya, en présence de tous les Bouddhas, de tous les Bodhisattvas, en présence de Bokar Rinpoche, je prie le vœu de Bodhisattva. Si vous avez ce souvenir dans votre esprit, très certainement cela vous sera très utile.
As you leave this place, and in the next few days, so as you go back to your respective places or countries, obviously given the context in which we journey or we live, and one may encounter or be confronted with situations that could cause annoyance, that could sort of provoke irritation or anger in regular circumstances, and these possibilities are there, obviously. So at such time, when you are confronted with these kind of situations, and if you recollect the fact that you were coming from Bodh Gaya, the place of the enlightenment of the Buddha, and there witnessed by and in the presence of the wisdom of the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and particularly in the person of or the Lama conducting the Bodhisattva ceremony, Rinpoche, and that you had taken the Bodhisattva vow, if you could just simply recollect that fact, Rinpoche believes that this would be of much benefit to you.
Nous méditons quelques instants. Nous avons pris les vœux du Bodhisattva comme cela a été dit tout à l'heure. Ce vœu, le fait que nous ayons pris ce vœu, réjouit beaucoup les Bouddhas et les Bodhisattvas. Les Bouddhas et les Bodhisattvas n'ont aucun voile qui limite leur connaissance, donc ils savent ce que nous faisons. D'un autre côté, il y a tous les êtres et ces classes d'êtres qui, eux, ne peuvent pas voir, ne peuvent pas percevoir ce que nous faisons. Mais si jamais ils avaient la possibilité de savoir ce que nous avons fait aujourd'hui, eux aussi seraient très contents parce qu'ils se diraient, bon ben enfin quelqu'un qui s'occupe de nous. Et Rinpoche dit, il nous dirait, Rinpoche qui en anglais, il nous dirait thank you, merci, merci beaucoup.
Taking the vow of bodhicitta is very significant, and therefore, as pointed out earlier, it is also tremendous joy for Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, their mind not veiled by the veil of obscurations, therefore has some insight into the activities of our taking the Bodhisattva vow, and so therefore is a tremendous source of joy for them. Whereas sentient beings, on the other hand, because of obscurations, because of ignorance, is not aware of what we are doing and what you're doing through the taking of the Bodhisattva vow. But were it that sentient beings are also aware of and they know that this is what's happening, and they would also be very happy and to see that and would be saying that, oh, you are thinking of us so much and thinking of us in this such wonderful ways, and so definitely, and were sentient beings be aware of it, they would be thanking you, and they would be saying thank you and thank you, and then we'll be saying thank you for thanking us. And they will say thank you for not leaving us behind.
Oh yeah, that. Oh, that is it. Nando sending the tomba top ne. That no lam. Oh, tene. Oh, that tombo. Rang gawa komba de yin gawa komba di ke sik ji yore sik charam de jedo che.
Donc dans le rituel, il y a quelques phrases à répéter exprimant ce que nous venons de dire, c'est-à-dire nous nous réjouissons nous-mêmes et les autres se réjouissent de ce que nous avons fait.
So now, as part of the Bodhisattva vow prayers, that there are words which expresses the common joy, the joy of on our part for having this opportunity, and the joy of others for our activities on their behalf and so forth. So in this way, you will repeat the words which expresses the common joy.
Timdu daze, Rebuyu, Mi Siba, Leparotop, Terin Sanje, Risuji, Sanje Sesu, Da Tingchur, Ane Dagi, Chene Jang, Redang Tumbi, Ledamde, Kume Tumbi, Rindela, Yoba Tingchur, Yadarcha, Dagi Terin, Joba Tamjeji, Jengaran Rova, Yeji Nidane, Adu Dela, Rundu Buzingi, Padang Lami, Lasso Gawarji. Oh, that is just in the Tatari Maran Simbi Nomba Lamba. Jedan, Yan give it our Tamjiki Tula Tene. Then it's how you get some but the Rangi Jula, my dear by Kyabata, Kyaba Yamba Mapa, then it's one of the show, you want to show something under one. That is Jedu.
Nous dédions maintenant le mérite de cette cérémonie du vœu de Bodhisattva, le mérite pour nous d'avoir pris le vœu de Bodhisattva. À quoi le dédions-nous? Nous souhaitons que par cela, les aspects de la précieuse bodhicitta qui ne sont pas encore nés dans notre esprit puissent naître, que ceux qui sont déjà nés ne se dégradent pas mais se développent continuellement. Et nous répétons après Rinpoche.
So now, whatever merit is accumulated through the taking of the Bodhisattva vow, as well as whatever merit, collection of merit there is accumulated from various other virtuous and wholesome activities, by the power of the merit accumulation, one should make this aspiration that in whoever's mind, precious bodhicitta, bodhicitta is precious, in whoever's mind it is not kindled or not arisen yet, may it rise, in whoever's mind it is arisen, may it never diminish and may it continue to increase and thus experience the ultimate bodhicitta. So in this way you will repeat the words for this aspiration and dedication.
Shangju Semne, Rinpoche, Maje Panam, Jejurje, Kyaba Nyamba, Lebadang, Kone Kondu, Pevarisho, Shangju Semjo, Rinpoche, Maje Panam, Jejurje, Kyaba Nyamba, Lebadang, Kone Kondu, Pevarisho, Shangju Semjo, Rinpoche, Maje Panam, Jejurje, Kyaba Nyamba, Lebadang, Kone Kondu, Pevarisho, Shangju Semdang, Munjorihin, Shangju Jola, Jorwadang, Sanje Namji, Yongsonghin, Yuji Lenam, Pevarisho, Shangju Semba, Namjene, Rodon Tola, Gondrusho, Gomboyene, Kangomba, Semjan Namla, Denjursho, Semjan Tamje, Yadang Denjurje, Mendro Tamje, Tadu Tombarisho, Changju Samba, Kanda Sarhyoba, Yada Kunji, Malandruba.
afternoon is for some interviews, and then today is of course the day of the Bodhisattva vow as well as full moon. So in the afternoon at 4 o'clock we will give some donations or offer money to the those who are by the main temple, poor people, and so we'll be giving the money. That's if they allow us to do it, and which will be quite a challenge. And then after that, the meditation and lighting of the candles, and Rinpoche will be also joining at 4:30 for that. And so everybody should be there by 4:30. It'll be a nice thing after the Bodhisattva vow to make this aspiration and lighting of the candles together.
Cet après-midi, il y a quelques entrevues pour les gens qui ont demandé. Après quoi, à 4h, 16h, Rinpoche fera des